Are you concerned about your memory or worried about developing dementia? If so, you're in the right place. I'm Joanne Cheng Tandok, a brain health and cognitive wellness specialist with almost 20 years of experience in dementia care. Here on Remember Me, we dive into science backed practical strategies to keep your brain sharp and reduce your risk for dementia. Join me as we explore how you can age confidently and stay mentally vibrant. In the last episode, we tried to understand what memory is and how it works, and we explained how forgetting can be a normal process, especially when we did not properly encode and store information. Today, we're diving into the differences between normal memory lapses and more serious memory disorders. Understanding these distinctions is vital for recognizing what is part of typical aging and what might require medical attention. By the end of this talk, you'll be able to differentiate between everyday forgetfulness and signs that could indicate something more serious and know when to take action. To start our discussion, we'll begin with two case vignettes. Listen carefully to the stories of John and Marcia, who both experience memory changes. Between them, tell me, who do you think is experiencing age-related memory loss and who has more serious warning signs that warrant medical attention? We'll discuss these towards the end of this presentation. We'll talk about John first. He is a 72-year-old retired accountant. He has always been known for his sharp mind and meticulous attention to detail. However, his family has become concerned over the past year as they've noticed a shift in his behavior. John frequently repeats the same questions, forgetting conversations he just had hours earlier. This has led him to withdraw socially. He struggles to keep track of his bills and has missed paying them several times, despite always being punctual in the past. John has also started to get confused while driving in familiar neighborhoods and has occasionally felt disoriented when visiting his longtime grocery store. Meanwhile, Marcia is a 67-year-old retired teacher who leads an active life filled with hobbies like gardening and book club meetings. Recently, Mary noticed that she occasionally misplaces her keys and sometimes walks into a room and forgets why she went there. She has found herself struggling to remember the names of new acquaintances at her weekly yoga class, but remembers them after a few moments. Mary's occasional forgetfulness led her to use small strategies like keeping a checklist to help her stay organized. Before we delve into John and Marcia's cases, let's take a moment to review the fundamentals of memory. Memory is a sophisticated process composed of three main stages: encoding, storage, and retrieval. To make this concept relatable, think of it as managing files on a computer. Encoding is like saving a file. Storage involves keeping it safely in a folder, and retrieval is when you locate and open the file when needed. We rely on different types of memory. Short-term memory holds information temporarily, such as remembering a phone number long enough to put it in your cell phone. In contrast, long-term memory stores information more permanently, allowing us to recall significant experiences like childhood events. As we age, various types of memory can be impacted differently. Working memory, which enables us to hold and manipulate information briefly, tends to become less efficient over time. This change can make multitasking and decision-making more challenging. Similarly, episodic memory, which relates to personal experiences and specific events, often shows age-related decline. It's normal for older adults to forget certain details but still remember the broader context of recent events. On a more positive note, semantic memory, which involves general knowledge and facts, as well as procedural memory, the memory for performing tasks like brushing our teeth, usually remains stable and well preserved as we age. Understanding these distinctions helps us discern what is typical and what might signal deeper concerns. Forgetfulness is a normal part of life. We've all misplaced our keys, temporarily forgotten someone's name, or walked into a room only to wonder why we went there. These moments of forgetfulness are often due to distractions or multitasking and can usually be resolved by slowing down, refocusing, or paying closer attention. For instance, forgetting where you parked in a large lot is common and not usually concerning, unless you forgot that you drove there in the first place and thought that you took public transport instead. A relatable example I can share with you is when my family attended an out-of-state baseball game. In our rush to get good seats, no one paid close attention to where we parked. After the game, it took us almost an hour to locate our car. Situations like these, where forgetfulness is linked to distraction or haste, are generally not a cause for worry. Normal forgetfulness can be influenced by various factors. Primarily, they are due to structural and chemical changes in the brain. Certain areas which are key for memory undergo age-related changes. Aging naturally slows down our cognitive processes, so retrieval might take a bit longer. Lifestyle also plays a significant role. Lack of sleep, poor diet, and stress can affect how well we encode and recall information. Have you ever been stressed that you couldn't remember something you knew well? That's a prime example of how mental load impacts memory. Distractions also prevent us from fully processing information, making it hard to recall later. Recognizing the early signs of dementia can make a significant difference. While we all forget things from time to time, certain patterns stand out. For example, repeating questions frequently, even moments after asking, may be a concern. If everyday tasks like making coffee or navigating to a familiar location become confusing or challenging, that's another red flag. Being unable to remember dates, getting disoriented in known places, or making unusual decisions such as overspending or giving away big amounts of money can signal cognitive decline. Also, watch for misplaced items in odd places, like putting keys in the fridge, or avoidance of social activities and hobbies that were once enjoyable. What's important is that if any of these changes are noticeable, happen often, and interfere with daily life, it's time to consult a healthcare professional to explore what might be happening. Memory is a continuum, with memory disorders varying in severity and progression. Mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, involves more frequent memory lapses than typical aging, but doesn't significantly impact daily life. Dementia, on the other hand, is a broad term for severe declines in memory and other mental faculties that interferes with daily activities. With memory disorders, Cognitive, behavioral, and personality changes are noticed by family or other people around them, and impairments are also evident on objective testing. There are numerous types of dementia, potentially ranging between 80 to 100 distinct forms. While today's overview won't cover them all, we'll focus on a few of the most common types and use specific examples to illustrate what is typical and what isn't. Keep in mind, not all dementias start with memory loss, and each person's experience with dementia is unique. Encountering one individual with dementia means you've only witnessed one specific case. If you're interested in learning more about the different types of dementia and their symptoms, please feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, or requests to present on these later on. I'm always here to share more information. Going back to our discussion on the types of dementia, it's crucial to note that certain medical conditions can lead to or mimic memory issues. These can include infections, thyroid disorders, vitamin deficiencies, depression, or even side effects from certain medications. When these underlying conditions are treated effectively, related memory symptoms may be resolved. Now, let's look at some of the more irreversible dementias. First on the list is Alzheimer's disease. This is the most common form. It often begins subtly with difficulty recalling recent events and progressively impacts a person's ability to reason and maintain independence. Other symptoms might include challenges in planning or problem solving, like balancing a checkbook, withdrawing from social activities, or unexpected changes in mood or personality. Next on the list is vascular dementia. This typically occurs following a stroke and can affect problem solving abilities and the speed of thinking. Next, we have Lewy body dementia. This is the type known to have affected the late actor Robin Williams. It typically presents with symptoms like visual hallucinations or issues with movement. Last on this list is frontotemporal dementia or FTD, which Bruce Willis has. This type tends to affect a younger demographic and is known for altering personality, behavior, and language skills. Understanding that these types of dementia are progressive, meaning they worsen over time, is important. Early detection can provide opportunities for treatment that may help manage symptoms more effectively. So, when should you seek medical advice? If memory problems are frequent and disruptive, like forgetting the names of close family members, getting lost in familiar places, or needing help with tasks that used to be routine or very familiar to you or the person you are concerned about, it's crucial to consult a doctor. Early evaluation is essential for understanding the cause and planning a treatment strategy. Don't wait for a crisis. Being proactive can make a big difference. Let's go back to the two case vignettes of John and Marcia in the beginning of this presentation. Now that you know the difference between normal forgetting and more serious memory declines, who do you think needs to consult a doctor soon? If you think it is John, then you are right. He needs to be assessed as he appears to exhibit symptoms of dementia. He and his family has noticed significant changes in his memory and cognition when he has always been known to be sharp and meticulous before. They also noticed a shift in his behavior. He frequently repeats the same questions and forgets conversations he had a few hours earlier. He also has started to withdraw socially. These changes had affected his daily activities as well. He fails to keep track of his bills, frequently missing payments unintentionally, despite always being punctual in the past, and he gets confused and disoriented even in familiar places that he frequented. On the other hand, Marcia, despite misplacing things and forgetting names of new acquaintances, she manages to remain independent and active, using some strategies to keep her organized. She also appears to be able to recall things and names she occasionally forgets after a few moments. What should John and others like him expect when they see a doctor? Diagnosing memory disorders involves several steps, and note that these may not be completed in just one visit to the doctor. It often starts with a conversation about symptoms and family history. Doctors may order certain lab tests to check for possible underlying medical causes, or may use cognitive tests and brain imaging like MRIs or CT scans to check for physical changes in the brain. While there's no cure for conditions like Alzheimer's yet, and disease-modifying drugs are continually being reviewed and studied as we speak, treatments can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. Non-medical approaches such as cognitive stimulation therapy and lifestyle adjustments can also support brain health and may even slow the progression of memory disorders. Prevention is key. Engaging in activities that keep your mind active, like puzzles or learning new skills, can strengthen cognitive function. Social interaction is also important, so spend time with friends and loved ones. Regular physical activity and a balanced diet rich in antioxidants support brain health. Remember the sharp brain health pillars that I share on social media? Social support and interaction, hearing and vision care, active living or active lifestyle and balanced nutrition, risk reduction and prevention and education strategies. These are practical steps everyone can take to maintain their cognitive health. To conclude this presentation, awareness and early detection matters. So if you or a loved one notices changes that disrupt life, you must consult a healthcare provider. I also invite you to book a quick call with me to assess risk factors and outline strategies for maintaining brain health. This proactive step can provide reassurance and actionable insights for the future. Thank you so much for your attention today. I hope this has clarified what normal memory lapses look like compared to signs of more serious conditions. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Remember Me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more tips on keeping your brain healthy. I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions, so drop a comment below. And if you're serious about preserving your memory and lowering your risk for dementia, consider working with me one-on-one through my brain health coaching program. Together, we'll build a personalized plan to help you stay mentally sharp, confident, and independent. Let's take control of your brain health, one step at a time.